So Renee, thanks for making time today. One of the things we're trying to do is, our consultants are all interested in hearing from other consultants about their journey. Can you kind of talk about your background and how you got into consulting, how long you've been in consulting, those sorts of things?
Yeah, so I will say that I started out my career as a teacher and never thought I'd be in the world of corporate America. Ended up in business school and actively avoided all consulting recruitment efforts. And was, just determined that I was going to be like an employee in some big company. And then, as I mentioned, when I graduated and needed a job, and someone called up and said, "Hey, are you interested in learning more?" And I didn't have anything to lose at that point. And so I started my career with Wipro Consulting, kind of a large Indian firm. And again, thought like business is global. Like, I don't really care where they're based as long as they pay me. And I was very wrong about that. I learned a ton culturally. And I was definitely the minority on most of our projects and client sites. But that's why I learned the importance of building relationships with clients, because they came to trust me because, it wasn't just about delivering tactically. It was about going to lunch, and like my first client invited me to CrossFit, which like I don't do like workouts at all, but I went to CrossFit, And so it was really, those things were super important. And I learned kind of just by doing them that I enjoyed them. And so that's kind of the reason I've stayed in it, is again, because of those relationships. And just because I also think like, I've enjoyed being in firms. It's one of the reasons I left Wipro. But when I joined ExpressWorks, like I was surrounded by 100 other change consultants that I could kind of geek out with, if you will. And I really enjoyed having the thought partnership that you don't necessarily get when you're one of like two change managers in-house, which I think is another perk of consulting.
How did you make that jump from an employee mindset over into owning your own business? And talk about some of the hurdles, because we hear that a lot. We hear from people that that jump is really tough. So how did that go for you?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you, so when I was at ExpressWorks, I was there as an employee, as a like quote unquote junior consultant, like supposed to be assigned to more of an independent consultant. That model didn't actually happen for a lot of reasons. And so I learned a lot from that as well. But like I had a lot of mentorship, and they were pushing us like, dude, why would you be an employee when you can be independent? And so I heard a lot about the benefits, but I was still very, very leery of it, just because of the risk factor. And I'm a very risk adverse person. And so I was kind of set and determined this is not for me. And then fast forward when we moved back from Dubai, and y'all reached out and said you have this position at Waste Management. And at this, like COVID helped because I didn't have any other choices at the time, and I wanted to work. So I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. And so, I helped a couple of my friends like help me set up my business. And now I just look back on that, I was like, why would I do anything different?
That's such a good story. And we hear that all the time. Once people do it, they don't go back, right?
No, I've heard a lot of like people, like even on our team, like, well, I have to have like health insurance and whatnot. But I mean, the short answer to that is like, you don't even have to, like, you just kind of, you do your hours, right? And you can buy health insurance with the hours that you put in. And then if you're growing and you're employing others, then like that's even more reason to just buy your own health insurance. Like it's far more lucrative that way than joining a firm, just get health insurance. But
yeah,
that, and then the accounting piece of it really scared me at first. The same argument, you can get a great accountant and have the funds you need to cover that. So
do you see how do you see yourself growing and evolving, kind of, because you're still so young in your career, you've got a ways to go, I'm assuming. Where do you see yourself going next?
So much of, I think, like like I really enjoy like the process improvement projects when I'm doing like project work. I did a lot of that at Dubai airports, and they actually had like a whole business process team. And so I got to work closely with them, which was eye-opening to me because since we work so closely, like I got to learn a lot about process improvement initiatives and really kind of saw so many parallels I didn't expect between the two disciplines, particularly on stakeholder management. My gosh. And so it's always kind of been an interest area of mine, the process improvement stuff. But I'd really love to eventually like dig deeper in that space. And I think I can do that by like, doing the change manager kind of side of that, but then, morph into kind of process improvement work as well. So that's one. And the other area, and I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but kind of like on the data side of things, I'd love to learn more just about data science and how organizations can use big data to make decisions. I did a lot of, that was my portfolio at Shell. And so my team was awesome about like giving me data 101. But it's got so many applications outside of just your IT bubble that I want to learn more about that.